my new subscribers, and I also would like to say hello to all of my old subscribers, well, the people that's been with me for a while. I appreciate it. If you could do me a favor, please like, share, subscribe, and hit that little notification button so you'll know when I go ahead and do other videos, okay? This week's topic is going to be a happy historical story, okay? The whole topic is going to revolve around 8 sex symbols from the 70s. So today I'm here with my husband and my youngest daughter and my oldest son and his lovely girlfriend. So everybody say hi. Anybody?
Hello.
Hi.
All right, so let's get into today's mukbang. Today we have cold Coca-Cola. Then we have cold Coca-Cola Zero, which I just got out of the freezer. We have a cheesy broccoli and rice. Hot out the pan. We've got chicken strips. We've got popcorn chicken. And then we have chicken wings, which have a mild hot sauce on them. Lots of dip. And then today, I'm actually going to have to stand up so you can see my shirt again. But today for dessert, we have an assortment of cheesecakes. And hopefully this isn't a shot. So that's for dessert today. I have my Minnie Mouse cup. Here she is. And as always, we've got napkins. Got napkins and paper plates. Okay, so let's see what everybody gets first. Let's see what everybody gets first.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Yeah, napkins. Everybody need napkins?
Thank you.
No problem. And there you go. Okay. As always, guys, I need something to drink, so I'm gonna go ahead and get Coca-Cola first. So how's everybody doing today? I sure hope that you're joining us during your mealtime. It's Saturday night for us here, and it's kind of late. It's around 9 o'clock because it took me a minute to make sure I had all my notes for the mukbang, and all the food was hot and fresh. Coke. Looks like we might need a fork for those wings. Okay, so. And that's a car alarm. What I'm going to do is pause it just for a second because we do need to get some forks for the wings because they are kind of like messy. So 1 second and we'll go ahead and get a fork. If somebody will pause it, we will go ahead and get a fork. That'd be great. Thanks guys, see you in a second. Welcome back. I'll go ahead and start drinking off of my Coke soda. Oh yeah. Oh, it's so good. Especially right out the freezer. So everybody has made plates. I think I'll go ahead and start off with some of this cheesy rice. And again, I'll give the first bite to you guys. Thank you to all my subscribers. If you haven't subscribed, please go ahead and like, share, subscribe, and hit that notification button. Okay, let's get some rice going here. One more close bite. The rice stays in the spoon. So what are you guys eating for dinner tonight? I thought I'd do different varieties of chicken. So that's why I did the wings. I was going to do nuggets, but I switched. I'm doing popcorn chicken and the strips. And then we've got all different kinds of sauces up here too. One is a Yum Yum Ranch, and the other one is the Asiago Caesar. I got 2 ranches from the chicken place where I got the chicken wings, and then 1 lone McDonald's ranch. Just in case we ran out of ranch.
This like spicy, that sauce. Which one? That's on the chicken.
This one?
Yeah, it's that spicy.
It's supposed to be mild. A mild hot sauce.
It don't taste mild.
It doesn't taste mild.
Really? I asked them for milder.
It has a kick to it.
It's got a kick.
I'm glad I didn't
Oh,
get
kick,
one.
you say? Don't mind if I do. Okay.
Alright. It's mild. I wonder if it's spicy like that.
Alright, I'll go ahead and try one. There you go. Well, what do you think?
It's not spicy.
We've got 2 spices and 1 no spicy. Let's give it a try, guys. Here we go.
If you start coughing, spicy.
It's good, but I'm going mild. I'm going barely a kick.
How do you not taste the spiciness?
But here comes the cough.
Yeah, that's it. I'll cough. Spicy.
Yeah, it's got a little something on it.
There you go.
Woo. Alright, more rice. I guess I'll try some of this. Just a yum yum ranch. Anybody try it yet?
No.
I did. It's pretty good.
Wait, good.
Mhm.
It was my sweet. God, y'all know I try to drop some every mukbang. Nice. Thank you. And don't forget the cheesecake. Because last week's episode, we bought all those cute little adorable cupcakes and didn't eat one on camera. So guys, don't forget the cheesecake. Although, me and Cheesecake have a love-hate relationship. I was actually bullied into buying today's dessert. For me, I don't get cheesecake. I eat cheese. I eat a cake. My brain, it just doesn't compute. And the texture is weird. So I can choke it down. You know, if I'm at a party or whatever, I want people like, oh my gosh, you don't eat cheesecake? Because that's, you know, like a regular food that people eat. But it's not like my favorite. I'm so sorry. I should have gave y'all that back first. Hey, the yum yum is pretty good. Nobody tried the Caesar? Nobody tried the Caesar?
No.
I don't think so.
Okay. It's Asiago Caesar. It is good in the store. Okay. So thanks to one of my subscribers, they requested that I do some happy historical stories. So I was researching all week, trying to figure out what I was going to talk about. Because last week I talked about Harriet Tubman. So then as I'm searching, I keep seeing the same thing pop up. And they were dealing with sex symbols. So I'm going through the symbols, and I'm seeing almost all of them are of the Caucasian persuasion. And I'm like, I'm a 70's baby. My husband is a 70's baby. I remember growing up and seeing some beautiful women of color on TV, in film, singing, in my own family. So I'm like, where are these women? When you type in sex symbols, where are these women? Why aren't they ranked? So I decided to make today's mukbang, just to bring it to everybody's attention again. I'm going to do 8 of them. 8 sex symbols of the 70s. And who knows, this might even turn into a series. Like maybe I'll do one on the 60s or the 80s or the 30s. decent topic. So what I'm going to do is, excuse me, Coke. You need to show us the camera. Thanks. There we go. All right. I'm going to start from the beginning. When I was a little girl, I knew about lovely ladies, but I didn't know exactly how lovely my mother is. Sorry, she is. She's gonna give me for that. As I started to get older, I would see how people interacted with her, how their faces would light up. You know, she's not only is she beautiful, but she's highly intelligent. That lady stays in somebody's school. She's got more degrees than you can count on fingers. She's talented. She's a writer. And she also is a staunch educator. She's all about education. Matter of fact, George W. Bush actually picked her to be Teacher of the Year one year. She went up to the White House and everything, her and my dad. Super proud of that lady. And she always told us girls that it is okay to be attractive. It is. It's okay. But you need to be intelligent, attractive, showcase your talent, and it said intelligent, attractive, showcase your talent, and have a personality. Have a good personality. So one time I remember we were standing in line for something. We were getting some sort of food. I think we were at a church cookout or something like that. And my mother, my family, they was up a little bit, and I was in the back, towards the back. And there was some gentleman standing behind me. I guess I was about 9. And one of the guys said, "Hey, you seen Hart's wife?" And so that made my ears perk up because that's my mother. They must not have knew that I was her, her daughter. And they started talking behind me. They're like, "Hey, you seen Hart's wife?" And the guy he was talking to was like, "Yeah, I seen Hart's wife." And so, no. And the guy said, hold up. You do know that is the wife of Hart. And the guy was like, "I know that's his wife, but I can dream about her." And my little ears. I was like, what? And then, I don't know if you remember, but in the 80s, they kept playing that song, "I Can Dream About You." And every time they would play that song, even to this day, I still remember what that guy said about my mother. My mother. So that's when I kind of realized, hey, my mom is a sex symbol. In my eyes, my mom is a sex symbol. Because she, envelops all of those qualities. So that's going to be the rules for this series. Those 4 rules. The camera, please. Thank you. Excuse me, sir. I wanted you to show that to the camera. Thank you. They have to be attractive. They have to be educated, intelligent. They have to be talented. And they also have to have a good personality. Okay? So now I'm going to throw these out there in no particular order. And guys, please don't come for me. I know that there are thousands of women of color during the 70s. And for me, I also made it, they had to be between the ages of 20 and 40. Okay, so they had to be under 40, but around 20. Okay? Thank you. So if I have forgotten anybody, please feel free to add them down in the comments below. They might end up being on another mukbang. Because from right now, we're taking this route of happy historical stories. Okay, so the first one, guys, and I need my handy dandy notebook. That way I try and get as much right as possible. Okay? But the first woman I want to talk about was born October 1952. Here, my glasses. In Buffalo, New York. And she was a swimming champion. Now, after she graduated from high school, she just wanted to do a regular job. She wanted to be a lawyer, but she decided, hey, right before college, I don't have any money, just like most college kids. I don't have any money. So her mother said, you know what? Go work in a department store. That way you can earn money so you can buy clothes for yourself. And she was like, okay, I'll do that. So she was working in a department store. And this lady kept coming up to her, like several times, kept giving her this card. And she was like, if you ever want to give up that dream of being an attorney, come see me. She was like, no, I want to be a lawyer. So she kept working. So then one day she was like, you know what? Let me give it a try. Let me see what this lady's talking about. So she called the lady up. And of course, the woman was a model scout. Scouting, looking for models. So she actually ended up hooking up with the lady. And then in 1974, when she was 22, now back in those days, you didn't know if you got the cover of a magazine. Thank you. You didn't know if you got the cover of a magazine until it was actually on the stands. Nowadays, it's totally different. You probably know like weeks and months in advance. But back then, you didn't know. So in 1974, the phone rings, and she said that her heart was beating out of her chest. She answered the phone, and she had got the cover. She had actually gotten the cover of American Vogue, and she was the first African-American woman to get the cover of American Vogue. And that lady's name was Beverly Johnson. Now, again, if you were 70's baby, Beverly Johnson was everywhere. You looked in a magazine and it was a black lady, more than likely, 9 times out of 10, it was Beverly Johnson. She didn't stop there. After she got that cover, somebody asked her, hey, what's it like to be the most beautiful black model on the planet? And she said, oh no, I'm not the most beautiful black model on the planet. I'm the most beautiful model on the planet. Period. Like, whoa. Whoa. You go, girl. Let's don't say that. Don't think you do. Whatever. So she's going around, she's doing her thing. She didn't want to be known as a black model. She wanted to be known as a model. So she's doing her career, and in her career, she did over 500 covers. I kid you not. When you get a chance, Google Beverly Johnson. Which is why, if you guys don't remember Beverly Johnson, or you don't know who she is, on your phone, if you want to, you can search her while I'm talking, because on the video, I'm going to insert her pictures all over the place. But if you want to know who she is while I'm talking about her, there you go. You can Google her. Alright, so Beverly Johnson, she was the first African American to cross over into fashion, books, wigs, and extensions. Now, one thing that actually struck a chord with me, with her, was she had gotten into a cab. After she said that whole model comment, shortly after that, she got into a cab, and the cab driver was like, oh, hey, what's happening? Okay. He's like, oh, hey, aren't you that model with the big mouth? Like Muhammad Ali?
He said what?
Like Muhammad Ali. Because she said that I'm the best model on the planet, period. And she said after he said that to her, it kind of stuck with her. And she was like, mm-mm. So what she did was she went home and she researched everything she could about black history, being in black America. She looked up her ancestry and figured out all about herself. And she said that through the years that she went through this industry, that really helped her to know who she was and where she came from. She called it her self-awakening moment. And I was like, I recently had a self-awakening moment. It was when I did the Emmett Till story. Right before then, I didn't really research black history like this. I didn't think about starting a mukbang and sharing this information with everybody. My husband and I were just chilling, and of course he had the remote dominating. So he dominated and put on the Emmett Till story. And I watched it, and it broke my heart. It was so inspiring that I, from that moment on, have done nothing but research black history. Because you're not taught it in school, and if you are taught it in school, you're only taught a portion of it. And that's not how it should be. Again, that's what my channel's about. It should be about history for all of us. Not just one portion of the population's history, but we should know about all the different cultures and the different histories, because this is our everyday lives. thought that, that really struggled me when she said that she found her self-awakening moment. And I did recently as well. So that was Beverly Johnson. Did y'all Google her?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
She was everywhere. I'm not kidding. She's still doing stuff now. And she did an interview recently. She's still gorgeous. She's still doing stuff now. On the OWN channel, she's gonna have her own reality show with her daughter. Even to this day, she's still doing stuff. And wigs and extensions. If you know anything about that world, especially for African Americans, Beverly Johnson. She's still doing stuff today. And I'm gonna get another popcorn ball in a little bit. For you. Okay. Who's next? Notebook, glasses. Those of you that need to Google, here we go. Now this beauty was born in June of 1942. So that makes her about 28 when we're talking about her. And she was born in Los Angeles, California. She attended college after high school, and she majored in sociology. Her big sister actually taught her how to model. So she started getting gigs, and the first gig that she got, she became the youngest model in Ebony Fair. Ebony Fair is like a magazine. She became the first model for them. Now, she wasn't even thinking about being an actress, but then a director, he saw her in that Ebony magazine, and he cast her for this movie. So she's like, okay, I'll do it. Let's go do it. The name of the movie was 13 Frightened Girls. So after that movie, she started getting good reviews from her acting. So she's like, let me go ahead and take some classes and let me learn more about this craft. Then she actually got the role in the name of the picture was 3 in the Attic. And her name is Judy Pace. P-A-C-E. Now, Judy, in 3 Men in the Attic, the 2 leads were white. It's 2 white girls, and then it's her. And then the man that they are dating and get revenge on, he is Caucasian as well. So this particular movie is the first movie with an interracial love/sex scene. She's the first one to do it. I actually saw the movie. It's on Amazon. It's actually a pretty decent movie. However, it's not politically correct right now. For today's world, it's not politically correct. So if you're going to watch it, it's called 3 in the Attic. It doesn't take very long. It's actually pretty decent, but leave your political correctness somewhere else. Okay? Roger Ebert said that when she stepped in every scene, this woman sparkled. She was so good. You didn't even see color, which is a testament to back then. So after she did 3 in the Attic, she went up for a role for a TV show. The name of the show was Julia. And she lost it. She didn't get the role. But Diahann Carroll did. And I want you to remember, just log that away in the back of your brain. So after that, she wasn't disheartened on the industry. She decided to try out for TV shows. And she got one. The name of the TV show was Peyton Place. Do you remember that show back in the 70s? You do?
No. I remember it like in the 90s.
Really?
Yeah. I guess they was doing like a remake or something.
Maybe they remade it.
Yeah.
I think I kind of remember Peyton Place. Because my mother loved her soap operas. Especially if it was on Channel 7, which was ABC. And a little bit of CBS. But I think she used to watch that, if I'm not mistaken. Anyway, Judy became the first African American on a TV show to play a villainess. And they said she played it fantastically. You believed her character. That show stayed on TV for a while. Then it got canceled. And a lot of the other actors in Peyton Place had a really hard time getting jobs after that show because they were typecast, but not her. She was able to go on to another TV show called The Young Lawyers.
Wait, what does that mean? Like typecast?
Oh, typecast is when they see you as just this particular character.
Mm-hmm.
Like, who now? See, you don't really watch TV, so I can't see. Geez, I need somebody help me out in the comments below.
Typecast.
Give me somebody that's clearly typecast.
Somebody that play a different role than their personality. That's what
No.
Like someone stuck within a certain character.
Right. Even though they want to try and do something else, people are like, nope, you're just this person.
Mhm.
Okay.
I don't know.
Let's go off The Office. Dwight. Right? Everybody knows him as Dwight. You are Dwight. Even though his name is Rainn Wilson, he does other things. It's like, dude, no, you're Dwight. That's typecast. So even though she's trying to, other people trying to shake off that particular character, they can't.
Like Erica Kane.
Like Erica Kane. We love you, Susan Lucci, but you'll always be Erica Kane. They wish they knew who you were talking. So not her. She was able to shake it off, and she went to another TV show called The Young Lawyers. That stayed on TV for a while, and she actually won an award for that. What did she get? Oh, she got an Image Award for that. And after people started seeing her on that TV show, they nicknamed her the new Black Barbie doll because of the way she looked. They said she looked like a perfect doll. So she started to do other movies and TV shows and things like that. And she was actually in the first blaxploitation film. I will come back to that word. She was in the first one, and she starred. It was directed by Ossie Davis, and the theme song was sung by Melba Moore. I was like, whoa! I ain't heard that name in a real long time. Where's Melba Moore? I'm not gonna research her. But the name of the first, because people say Shaft was the first one, but it wasn't. It's this one. And the name of it is Cotton Comes to Harlem. And she was in that one. But that was the only one she did. She said that she wanted to do other things besides blaxploitation. She didn't want to be typecast as just a blaxploitation actress.
I seen that movie.
You did? How was it?
It was okay.
He's seen every movie. So she did a lot of TV shows. She was in Good Times, Sanford and Son, Bewitched, Batman, What's Happening, and she was the first black bachelorette on The Dating Game, which was a big thing back in the 70s, where you would try to get a date, and she was the first black one. Mm-hmm.
I remember when she was on What's Happening.
Really?
Yeah.
See, he watches those shows. He said he remembers when she was on What's Happening. Who was she dating? Rerun?
Nah, she was dating Dwayne.
Oh, I get it. I get it. She was lovely. She was the Black Barbie doll. I can't believe you remember that episode.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. So, later on in her life, she did actually end up founding a foundation. And the name of the foundation is Kwanzaa. Kwanza. And she co-founded it with Nichelle Nichols. Now I want you to file that name in the back of your brain. She also has been credited as the first dark-skinned beauty on TV. Because before they would show like lighter-skinned African-American women. But she was the first one that was considered beautiful, and she was dark-skinned. What she did was she proved that beauty doesn't discriminate, and that women of darker skin are beautiful. So that was Judy Pace. Judy Pace. Okay? Woo! I'm not the only one eating, am I? I'm just sitting there looking.
Fool.
Oh, that's good. More rice. More soda for me. Do you remember her on Good Times? Or Sanford and Son?
I don't remember.
Okay. I don't remember her on Bewitched. I'm gonna have to Google that. Now that are shows that I used to watch. Okay, get your Google phones out. Let me show you a picture. This beauty was born in January of 1938. So she's around 32 in the 70s. She was born in Los Angeles, California. And her name was James Etta Hawkins. Or, anybody?
Etta James.
Etta James! Thank you.
Was we supposed to get that?
Okay, and they're passing around the picture. Yeah, it's about Etta James. Now, Etta James, she was born to a very young single mother. And this single mother had issues like taking care of her, going to school, going to work. So she actually was put into foster homes. She remembers 2 specifically, but she did grow up with foster parents. Now they noticed, like right around 5, how talented this young girl was. She could sing. Thank you. I don't get
It gives me.
So they put her in vocal lessons. Now remember, people, this is 1938. The teacher was very physically abusive to her. He wanted her to sing from her gut. She didn't. She's 5. She didn't. She kept singing from her throat. So what he would do was he would punch her in the chest to get her to sing from her gut. Now, unfortunately, fortunately, if you kind of look at it, it resulted in her singing with this really deep, haunting voice. And I mean, it was something that was like different for a 5-year-old to sound that way. So as she's getting older, still learning, she's around 12, she forms a group of girls. And they were singing like doo-wop kind of songs. They got noticed. And let me see if I remember his name. By a man named Johnny Otis. Now, Johnny Otis was in the music industry. And so, with his finagling, what he did was, he actually let that girl group open up for Little Richard. I didn't know that. So that 12-year-old girl group used to open up for the musical icon who recently passed, Little Richard. So they were doing that. She's getting older. And she actually dated B.B. King. I was like, wow. Wow. So she's doing different things. She's going on tours. And she ended up meeting Elvis Presley when he was 19. And she said, in one of her books, she said that she was so impressed with his manners and just the way about him. And then as he got older, he actually made a really nice convalescent home for older people. And he found out that Jackie Wilson, who was a singer back in those times, was actually in a bad home. So he took Jackie Wilson out of that home and put him in the beautiful home that he had made. And when Etta James found out about that, she thought that that was really great that he would do that for that legend. So she was showing, you know, how nice and kind Elvis Presley was. So, Miss Etta James. She ended up doing a lot of songs and albums, and in 1960 she released her signature song, At Last. Now, it's a really old sounding song, but that song, Beyonce just, not recently, but she sang it a couple of years ago to Michelle and President Obama during their inauguration, which started a whole nother brouhaha between her and Etta James, but you need to Google. It's actually pretty good. How about your tea? Etta didn't like it. Beyonce, being as gracious as she was, she didn't reply back. And then eventually they realized that Etta was going through some personal issues, and she was getting sick and older, and that's why she said the different things that she said to Beyonce. But it's really good. Google it, you'll see. she sang it, it became the best known rendition of that song. Now, just as a side note, I found out that she loves Christmas. She's like a Christmas-aholic. Did I just coin that phrase? I love Christmas. I adore Christmas. So I Googled on YouTube if she had any Christmas albums, and she does. She has a Christmas album. I listened to it, and her voice is so amazing. It really is. It's amazing that I now have to get that tape off Amazon, and it will become a part of my yearly rotation. So, my people, you will be hearing Etta James during Christmas time.
Alright.
Yeah, her tape.
She got it.
She had an album, yep.
A CD.
Well, CD, download, iTunes, whatever. So, she recorded a lot. However, Miss James did battle addiction. She had some addictions that she had to work through. She got 6 Grammys, 17 Blues Music Awards. She has a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame, and she was inducted into the Hall of Fame in 1993. That was Miss Etta James.
Is she still living?
She is not, unfortunately. She lost the battle to leukemia and something else. So, and it was just recently that she passed. I'm gonna need another soda.
Can you pass me one?
There you go. Questions? Comments?
She was like, her character was in a movie like about 10 years ago. I forgot the name of it.
It's Cadillac Records.
Yeah, Cadillac Records.
I was gonna include that in the research, but they're saying, some people are saying that it's not true to life. Like they did too much creative stuff with the movie. That it was kind of loosely based on her experience with the record company, but not all the way, so that's why I didn't include it. But you can Google it. The movie's name was Cadillac Records. Amazing. All right. What beauty is next? Okay, now this lovely lady was born in July 1935 in Bronx, New York. Bronx. There it is. Bronx, New York. She was born Carol Diahann Johnson. Okay, so remember those 2 names I told you to file back in your brain? Here comes one of them. And her name was Diahann Carroll. Now, Diahann Carroll, she was growing up in New York, and one time her parents went down to North Carolina. They took her with them. She's about 3 or 4. They're chilling. Everybody's just doing their own thing, and then they go to sleep. The next morning she wakes up. Remember, she's about 3 or 4. They're showing the picture. And I'll insert the pictures here. It's Diahann Carroll. She wakes up the next day, and she goes and she says to her aunt, "Where are my parents?" And the aunt says, "It's okay, baby. Your parents said that they want a break, and they'll come back for you." Remember, she's 3 or 4. They came back a year later. They just dropped her off with the aunt in North Carolina. They said they needed a break from their 3 or 4-year-old, and they came back a year later.
Wow.
She said, now, even though she was 3 or 4, that moment really struck with her, and it stayed with her. Imagine. So she said, in that moment, it made her more determined to do something with her life, and it really created strength within her. And she credits her parents for that, because she needed that strength and determination as she made her way through this industry. So the parents came back and got her. They went back to New York. And they were very supportive of her. They put her in singing classes and dancing classes and acting classes. And she actually went to a musical arts high school in New York. And one of her classmates was Billy D. Williams. Which, if you don't know who he is, he's Han Solo from Star Wars. The original. Not the latest movie. That was one of her classmates. So she's going through high school. Very talented woman. Okay. Now, then she decides she wants to go to NYU, which is the New York University. And while there, she also wanted to major in sociology. I thought that was shocking. Talk about these beautiful women going into sociology. But at the age of 18, she got the chance of a lifetime. She went on a TV show, and as a contestant, she sang a song that blew everybody away, and she won $1,000. Now, $1,000 is no 2 pennies nowadays, so you know how it was back then. So she said she felt really encouraged, and she wanted to pursue her craft. During these years, she acted on stage. She was in film and TV shows. And then in 1968, she actually got the part of Julia. Remember, she beat out Judy Pace for this part. Now, Julia was the first African American to serve in a non-servitude role as a lead character. Before then, blacks did act on TV, but they were always servants or maids, something like that. And this was the first time, not only was she the lead of the TV show, but she wasn't a servant. She was a nurse. And she was a single mom, so she was very groundbreaking. She was a trailblazer. That stayed on TV for a while. And then she started, again, she went back to the stage. And she actually starred in a movie, what is it? I Know Why the Caged Bird Sings. So she started in that movie. Then she got the role which most people know her for, especially if you were around in the 70s and 80s, as Dominique Devereaux on the TV show Dynasty. Did you know that? No? Okay. Anyway, most females who watched TV back then, I told you my mother was a soap opera person, know Dominique. Now, Dominique was described as classy, regal, and highly intelligent. You've got to get on YouTube and see Dominique Devereaux. I went back and was just watching a couple of episodes with her and, oh my God, I forgot her name. Oh my God, I forgot her name. Alexis, yes. Her and Alexis, they are slapping each other, they're rolling around on the floor, and these are high-class women. It's hilarious. But she played that part. She ended up getting a lot of awards for that, as well as some nominations. Golden Globe. She won Golden Globes, and she ended up with 4 Emmy nominations. She was also nominated for an Oscar. So with Miss Diahann Carroll, she was actually inducted into the TV Academy Hall of Fame. And unfortunately, she did recently pass away. But she had a very inspirational and exciting career. She was fun. She was super fun to watch. Super fun. She also had a TV show. She had a TV show for like a year. And people would come on there. I think Sammy Davis Jr. came on there one time. So she did a lot of stuff. She did. And she was, just the most intelligent and ladylike person. She presented that all the time. And she was very big on education as well. So that was Miss Diahann Carroll. And let's get to my folder. Any questions? Any comments? Anybody?
What number are we on?
We are now on number 5. Okay. Alright, here we go. Okay. So we're now on number 5. Now this lady, the more I researched her, because I remember her name, but then I asked my husband, and when I asked him for a couple of names to throw out from the 70s, she was on his list too. So I'm sure a lot of you are going to remember her. But as I'm researching her, I'm finding out that she is more and more like my mother-in-law. They looked alike. They had a great presence about them. The similarities are striking. And it's even down to their name. Her name, no, let me say my mother-in-law's name first. Her name was Dorothea Lodarian Forney. This lady that I'm speaking of, who was born in September 1942, her name was, and I hope I'm not butchering it, Lothea Elaine Falana. So, I mean, even their names are similar. So the person that I'm talking of, and who you might want to Google, is Lola Falana. And I can't help saying that name because, it just rolls off the tongue. And it's making me think of the song by Barry Manilow that he actually named for her. That's not the name of the song, but her name is in the song. So Miss Lola Falana. She was born in Camden, New Jersey. Her mom was African American. Her dad was African American and Cuban. Miss Falana started dancing and singing at the age of 3. By junior high school, she started dancing professionally. She actually ended up dancing during Dinah Washington's appearance. Now, I had to figure out who Dinah Washington is, so please don't come for me. But she was a well-known singer back then. And Lola actually danced at one of her performances. And she actually helped her career. Now, one time while Lola was dancing in Atlantic City, she actually was discovered by Sammy Davis Jr. He saw her, and he was like, I'm going to help her with her career. So he gave her a role as on a Broadway musical named Golden Boy. Now, this launched her career. It took off. She started actually recording different records, and she actually recorded on Frank Sinatra's label, which is something. Then she went over to Italy, and she did a lot of movies in Italian. She actually became one of the first African-American performers who performed in different languages, because her father used to sing to her in Spanish when she was a child, and then when she went over to Italy, she, started learning Italian. So when she ended up performing, she could do it in different languages. So she did film, she did stage. She also did a lot of TV shows too. Let's see here. She did a film called A Man Called Adam, and again, Ossie Davis directed it, and Cicely Tyson actually starred in it with her. She had Sammy do a lot of stuff to help her career, but after a while, she ended up breaking off their relationship, their professional relationship, because she said she didn't want to just be known as Sammy's little girl, that little girl dancer that's for Sammy. So she went on to do other things, and she did a lot of TV shows, like she was on The Tonight Show, she was on The Muppet Show, she was on Shana Na. I don't know if you guys remember that TV show in the 70s, but I actually YouTubed it and saw her performance, and she just looked amazing. She was nominated for Golden Globes, and she actually did a couple of blaxploitation films. One of them was Lady Coco, and that was in 1975. After that, she did go back to Sammy because she was like, she wanted him to help her get her act together, her whole dancing and singing, her whole routine. And he ended up helping her get to Las Vegas and set up her show. And she was there for years. And while she was there, she was known as the first, let me correct myself. She was the highest paid entertainer in Las Vegas at that time. And that's when they dubbed her the First Lady of Vegas. Because she was making so much money, she was now the First Lady of Vegas. Now, I would suggest that you Google Miss Lola Falana, because her performances are mesmerizing. I actually YouTubed one, and I literally could not take my eyes off the screen. It was that glamorous and exciting, and she was just so freaking talented. So I would suggest that you Google it. I wish I had the kind of software where I could add a couple of video clips, and I keep asking, how do you do that? But I can't figure it out. So because I can't, I'm going to try and play you like 2 seconds of one of her performances so you can just see what I'm talking about. And then when you get a chance, just Google it for yourself.
She can show me the software. I could figure it out.
Are you on YouTube? Do you see one?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. I'm gonna fast forward. So if it's just, if it's that amazing on YouTube, imagine how that was live in Vegas. Because she was the first lady of Vegas. That was Miss Lola Falana. All right. What number are we on? 6?
Yep.
All right.
Yes.
What is blaxploitation?
I was gonna ask that.
We're getting there, trust me. We're getting there. That was a good question, though. Thank you. All right, next up. This young lady was a lot of boys, and maybe even some girls, crush in the 70s. I know there's a Friends episode where they're talking about crushes, and a lot of dudes, just as soon as you say one person's name, they all agree that they had a crush on her. They said Layla, what is it? Princess Leia from Star Wars. So back in those days, boys had crushes on her. This young lady, a lot of boys had crushes on her. African American. Girls too. Who am I speaking of? Who am I talking about? Miss Jayne Kennedy. Now, Jayne Kennedy was born in October of 1951 in Washington, D.C. By the time she was 12 years old, she was 5'10". Her parents moved to Ohio. And there in Ohio, she went through school, she went to high school, and she ended up marrying a man, and his name was Leon Kennedy. And guess who her best man was? And because he was a DJ, so he knew music people. Smokey Robinson. Smokey Robinson was her husband's best man at the wedding. So they decided they want to move out to California. She said that she thought that her mother was going to have a fit. And she said, Mom, I want to go out to California and I want to try my luck, just see what'll happen. And her mother did not pitch a fit. Her mother said, I know that there is greatness inside of you, and I know that you can't find it here. So she let her go to California with her blessings. Now, what Miss Kennedy did was, she ended up being the first African American to win the Miss Ohio USA pageant. And then she placed in the top 15 on the Miss USA pageant. I YouTube that too, guys. She's just so young and cute. She's up there on stage, and there were only 2 black women in that entire pageant. Out of, all the states, there were only 2.
So
and
she moved from D.C. to Ohio.
To Ohio, yeah. And then now they moved to California. Her and her husband. So she placed 15th in that particular pageant. Then she went on to do movies and films and TV, and she also did a blaxploitation film. It was called Death Force, which I didn't know. She became the first African American to be a ding-a-ling girl. What is a ding-a-ling girl? I can't help that's what it's named. Dean Martin had a TV show in the 70s. And he would get up, it was like a variety show. He would get up there, he would sing, he would sit on the couch with all these lovely ladies. And a ding-a-ling girl was a girl that used to go around dancing, and she sang. And she was the only black. There was an Asian lady there as well. But those out of the 4 women, those 2 women were women of color. She did that for about a year. And then she ended up doing other TV shows like Laughing. And then in the 80s, she did her own workout video. Now, those of us that grew up in the 70s and 80s, we know about these workout videos. She was in the top 3. The top 2 contenders were Richard Simmons, Jane Fonda, and Jayne Kennedy. Amazing. And at one point, her face was insured for $1 million. And I'm going to insert so many pictures of this lovely woman because she's beautiful. And she still is. If you Google her now, she still is. So what she did was she did a whole bunch of workout videos. And, wait, I skipped over the main thing. I'm so sorry, nobody stopped me. The main reason that we know mostly about Jayne Kennedy is because in 1978, she broke through the barrier and actually became the first African-American woman, first woman, period, to break through sports broadcasting. She landed the role on NFL Today. And she was there just doing everything. There are pictures of her with Muhammad Ali, and she's doing interviews with like Bruce Jenner and things like that. She did a lot. And that, I mean, so many people know her from that. So many people know her from that. And the workout videos. So, you know, she was very highly intelligent. Would interview people, and it would be memorable and amazing. Don't forget, we have the cheesecake.
Yeah, get one.
Yeah, totally.
Or
Yum.
a nail could open it. There we go. So while the cheesecake is being opened and passed around, let me tell you more about Miss Kennedy. Now, she did her workout videos, and I YouTubed it, and they are really hard. I mean, you're going to lose some weight doing these. And it was funny because there was another Asian lady there in her video, and it's the lady from Soul Train. I forget what her name is.
I know you're
Connie
talking about.
something. It was something like that. She's in Jayne Kennedy's video. So if you go back and watch Soul Train, there is the main Asian lady that's there with all this long flowing hair. Everybody knows her. I just can't think of her name right now, but she's actually in Jayne Kennedy's video. She's almost like right behind her doing the exercise with the leg warmers and all that stuff. It's great. So Jayne Kennedy was getting endorsements and all of these things, and she actually did a commercial for a box of bills.
Please.
I don't have one over in the area, yeah. Okay. We'll wait till the next one, then we'll go ahead and do that. Okay, let me finish up with it. Okay. So she was doing a commercial for Coca-Cola, and she ended up passing out backstage. So they took her to the doctor to try to figure out what was going on with her, and they found out that she had endometriosis. And that is, and because we're eating on, let you Google it for yourself or define it for yourself. But it's a gynecological issue. And so she was in so much pain. She said that while she was doing one of her workout videos, she couldn't even do a sit-up. She was in that much pain. And it was projected that she wouldn't have any children. However, she was actually pregnant when they found the diagnosis, and she ended up having 3 beautiful daughters, even though she had that issue. They did eventually give her surgery to clear it up, but I mean, that was amazing. You know, for her to actually be pregnant, they saying you can't have any children, and then for her to have 2 more daughters after that. So you know, I thought that was very inspiring. So let's see, what else did she do? Now, a lot of people are trying to figure out why Jayne just dropped off the mat. Because first off, she's eye candy. Second off, you know, she's intelligent and she's doing all this stuff on the broadcast the broadcasting channel NFL Today. Then all of a sudden, she just drops off the mat. And what happened was, and I'm going to walk a very thin line here because if you're incorrect, apparently you get sued. I'll let you Google it. But a very private recording was released. And back in those days, you get me? Back in those days, it damaged your career. And so they did not put out this recording. It was taken. So because of that, she decided to shy away from the business and just focus in on her family. And even now to this day, she says she's very family oriented and focused. She does things every once in a while, but if she had just waited a couple more years, it would have been the way it is now. But back in those days,
It's a recording, not a video. Or it's a video.
A recording.
But not a video, just a recording.
I would like to stay as vague as
Video.
possible.
I'm just asking. I don't know.
If you can get from my sign language. Google it. You'll know what I'm talking about. Okay, now at this particular moment, I'm actually going to take a break, and we'll be right back. Okay, I did totally forget two things about Miss Jayne Kennedy. The first one is that she did get divorced from Leon Kennedy in 1982, and she did remarry. This husband is going to be the father of her children. His name was Bill Overton in 1985, and they're still together, and happy. So that was one thing that I forgot to add about Miss Kennedy, and I believe Bill Overton is an actor, correct? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. And then the other update that I totally forgot about was that she actually did pose for Playboy. She was on the cover of Playboy magazine. However, she did remain partially clothed. So she was very strong about that. She didn't want to be nude, totally nude. She did have covering. So she had an amazing career and a very inspiring woman. She still is alive today. But I did want to make sure that I included her entire story on this particular sex symbol of the 70s. Now, it's starting to get, drag. I can't even say that. I gotta cut this part out. It's starting to, I've decided to do a part two. Because it's really interesting about these ladies. So I'm going to go ahead and do another one, another mukbang on the 70s sex symbols. I will do my final two, and they've got a lot of story to tell. And I'll probably throw in an extra bonus one as well. So, please like, share, subscribe, hit that notification button. Thank you all for coming to the mukbang. Hopefully they'll be at the next one, and you too. Make sure you comment down below. Did I forget anybody? If I did, please. I don't want to dishonor anybody, so just go ahead and drop their names down below, and I'll see if I can put them into the next mukbang. Guys, thank you for joining us. Thank you to all my subscribers, and if you're new, thank you as well. We're going to continue to eat on this. You guys have a great, great evening. Bye, guys.